Hello YouTube, it's Yubel10 here with a card discussion video today, and it's going to be on a card that I have used in my Blue Eyes deck and that I've always really liked, and that is Yubel. Now, the Yubel series, there's three main cards in the Yubel series, as you know, but there's also a couple of like spin-off cards and stuff that were made based on her and everything. But I'm just going to quickly talk about why I really like the character and the card and everything, and I hope you guys enjoy this video. So, Yubel, in the anime, in the Japanese anime anyway, she is very, very psychotic. Obviously, she made a promise to a younger Jedi that she would always love him and everything, and unfortunately when she gets sent into space after trying to protect him and all that in her own way, you know, the light of destruction corrupts her mind so badly it becomes a really twisted psychotic form of that love, and she believes that inflicting pain is the ultimate expression of love, hence why she puts Jedi and his friends and everything all through the hell of season 3 in the Yu-Gi-Oh! GX anime. But I always thought she was a really cool, tragic character, because obviously she started off as meaning well, you know, trying to protect Jedi and the Supreme King and everything, but unfortunately it ultimately got corrupted quite badly, but was eventually saved by Jedi, or Jade and Yuki, and, you know, became a very strong ally in season 4 of the GX anime, although sadly that was a really short season. We didn't really get to see very much of it, sadly. But I thought she was really cool. She's actually portrayed as a hermaphrodite in the Japanese anime. You know, she's half male, half female and everything. And the character always really interested me, and I just thought, you know, she was a cool looking character and all that. But as I said, she is quite psychotic. For example, when she was dueling against when she was making the deals with Professor Viper that he would see his son again, she would bring his son back to life. At the end of the duel that Viper or Cobra has against Jedi, she actually says she will reunite Viper with his son, and the way she does that is she makes him go into a hallucination that his son is alive, and he ends up joining him by walking off the edge of the helicopter pad, killing him and reuniting him in heaven. So that was quite a bit of a shock to see that, and really psychotic and devious and evil and everything. But as I said, that wasn't what interested me in her. I thought her design was really cool, and just the fact that she was a tragic character who was eventually saved as well, you know, it was just incredible. And hence, when I heard that she was coming out in card form and everything, I was like, oh yes, I can't wait, because I thought she was really cool. She had a brilliant effect, you know, termed as the ultimate shield, because she has the heart and scales of a dragon, and everything. I think actually in the anime, what was it? It was she would take the form of a dragon whose appearance was so scary and disfigured that she would nobody would ever love her again, apparently. I think that's what it was like. But anyway, the three cards I can see there, we've got Yubel, then we have Yubel Terra Incarnate. Sadly, I can't remember the German names that are used to describe the other two. If you guys know what they are, just post down in the comments below. And then we have Yubel the Ultimate Nightmare, which of course is the final form of her dragon. But anyway, her first form, which is just Yubel, is a level 10 Dark type Fiend, 0 attack, 0 defense. This card cannot be destroyed by battle. You take no battle damage from battles involving this card. When this face up attack position card is attacked by an opponent's monster before damage calculation, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the monster's attack. During the end phase, tribute one monster or destroy this card. When this card is destroyed except by its own effect, you can special summon one Yubel Terra Incarnate from the hand, deck or graveyard. So first off, she does burn damage if you try to attack her, hence why she's known as the ultimate shield. What's it called? Her attack of inflicting pain back to the opponent, or burn damage to the opponent, is called Nightmare Pain in the Japanese dub. And so the first form is okay. You know, if you've got her on the field, the opponent will not attack her and everything. But however, her second ability of you have to tribute a monster to come on the field, it is quite costly unless you have ways of like resurrecting certain monsters to keep those tributes going, such as Samsara Lotus, like she uses in the anime, or Treeborn Frog, or just anything that can resurrect itself in order to obviously keep Yubel going on the field. And when she's destroyed, except by her own effect, she automatically can summon her second form from the hand, deck, or graveyard, so that's pretty cool. So in most Yubel decks that I've seen anyway, including that of my good friend Kalo Shade, he absolutely loves this card, and he has built decks around her, different variants and everything. In most Yubel decks, the main theme is to send all three forms either to the graveyard or something, and then when they're resurrected or anything, they don't become like obviously a dead draw in the hand, and they can be just special summoned in a continuous loop, if you like. Now her second form is the beginning of the dragon, is of course a twin-headed dragon, beginning of the grotesque dragon that she's apparently going to take on. Her second one is a level 11 monster, again 0 attack and 0 defense. This card cannot be normal summoned or set. This card cannot be special summoned except with the effect of Yubel. So immediately it's a Nomi card. It cannot be summoned any other ways except by Yubel's effect when she's destroyed by something else. This card cannot be destroyed by battle, again, ultimate shield. You take no battle damage from battles involving this card. When this face-up attack position card is attacked by opponent's monster, again, inflicts burn damage equal to the opponent's monster's attack. During your end phase, destroy all of the monsters on the field. And when this face-up card is removed from the field, you can special summon a Yubel, the Ultimate Nightmare, from the hand, deck, or graveyard. Now, destroying all of the monsters on the field is basically like a dark hole when this card is out, and a lot of people tend to be happy just to get the second form out, because obviously you can't attack this, it can't be destroyed by battle, and it blows up everything in the end phase. So when you summon a monster, you can't do anything against it really, because you can't attack it for fear of burn damage, and you're going to lose everything in the end phase of the turn. So it's quite a nasty effect, but a pretty good one. I've seen a lot of combos where it's used with things like, say, Sacred Phoenix of Nephthys. When that's destroyed, it comes back in the standby phase and blows up all spells and trap cards. Or, what else was there? I think I've seen it used with Red Daemon's effect as well. Like, if this card doesn't attack, then Red Daemon's effect during the end phase goes off to destroy all monsters that didn't attack, and then this can go into its third form. What else? Just trying to remember. I can't think of anything at the moment, but that's just some examples of what I've seen. So in a way, this is sort of the preferred form of Yubel when she does get out onto the field. And yes, I'm calling her a female because she's a hermaphrodite. She could be male or female. Okay, that's just how the Japanese anime goes. Okay, whereas at least in the English anime, obviously she was made out to be completely female, even though she was originally a boy in the anime, which doesn't quite make entirely a lot of sense, but anyway. But still pretty cool. You know, some people are mostly happy just to keep this out on the field and then summon out a monster, do some damage, and then, you know, just let it keep blowing itself up and all that. However, when this card is removed from the field, so it doesn't matter where it goes, if it's destroyed, removed from play or anything, it will automatically summon out Yubel, the Ultimate Nightmare, which is the final form of Yubel, and obviously the most grotesque form, as it were, which involves like a fiend-like demon with twin dragon heads, and in turn they've got demonic heads on their faces, and you've got the demonic eyes and third eyes of Yubel and everything, which is quite interesting but quite scary as well sometimes. It's a bit of a scary card, I think. It's a level 12, again 0 attack, 0 defense. This card cannot be normal summoned or set. This card cannot be special summoned except with the effect of Yubel turn Incarnate. Again, it's a Nomi card, so in most Yubel decks the thing is to try and get this card into the graveyard, so that way you don't dead draw into it, but it can still be special summoned from anywhere. This card cannot be destroyed by battle. You take no battle damage from battles involving this card. If this face-up attack position monster battles an opponent's monster, inflict damage equal to its attack to the opponent and destroy that monster at the end of the damage step. So, in other words, if you battle with this card, it doesn't matter if you're attacking or if the opponent's attacking, you take burn damage and then your monster is destroyed at the end of the phase. So, unfortunately, it doesn't have any other effect like to special summon Yubel itself if this card is destroyed. Once you reach the third form, that's it. That's the cycle over, basically. But most Yubel decks that I've seen tend to use a basic, I suppose, backbone. For example, they use like 2 Yubel, 2 Incarnate, and maybe 1 or 2 of the Ultimate Nightmare, because maxing out all 3 of them to 3 would pretty much clog up the deck, clog up your hand very, very easily unless you have ways of getting rid of it. But it's personal taste and personal preference. Everything's different. But pretty much, if I was to personally build my own Yubel deck, and I might do so on DevPro or something, my ultimate goal would be to get out to the 3rd form as quickly as possible, just because it can do a lot of damage and it destroys the monster anyway. So it's got the burn effect of Yubel in the first bit, or the first Yubel, and then it's got the destruction of the second Yubel in that it destroys the monster. True, it's only singularity destruction, but it's like no matter what you do, that card, if Ultimate Nightmare battles with your monster, you're losing your monster and you're taking burn damage, and there's nothing you can really do about that. But anyway, these are pretty awesome cards. Now, these are the ones I have from the original Phantom Darkness, and Chris, my boyfriend, Ginrad Prime, actually got me this Yubel from, this was the only Yubel he pulled out in the whole Phantom Darkness box he got, and I was very grateful for it. And if you guys have seen on my channel with a lot of my older decks, at least before I came back to Scotland, like Mad for Miniatures, I used to run Yubel in Blue Eyes. Whereas I would play things like Stray Lambs or Fires of Doomsday and then set Yubel, and people would think, oh, she set the Blue Eyes or something, and they tack into it and it's Yubel there. And because I used to run Treeborn Frog and Samsara Lotus and that back then, I mean, I was quite a noobish player back then. You know, I had Yubel out and they were like, you know, they couldn't get around her really. They couldn't get around her really for fear of being burn damage, and then when the Blue Eyes came out, it was like, oh, you've got a Yubel and a Blue Eyes Red Dragon to deal with. And all that, so yeah. As I said, there's quite a few different deck styles of Yubel that I have seen. I have seen like a basic standard build, which is to get the 3 forms out as quickly as possible. I've seen Neos Wiseman versions, which I'll show you guys in a moment. And I've also seen a Chaos variant. And I've also seen, you could also say there's also maybe the original anime version where she uses a plant type deck in the anime. So some people might decide to use her in a plant type deck of their own to keep faithful to the anime. I'm not too sure. But anyway, the spin-off card that she was made into was a Neos Wiseman, which is, in the anime, was a fusion of Yubel and Neos, which would have made this card a lot more playable if it was a fusion, but sadly it's an effect monster. It's a level 10, light type, 3000 attack, 3000 defense monster, spellcaster. This card cannot be normal summoned or set. This card cannot be special summoned except by sending 1 face-up Elemental Hero Neos and 1 face-up Yubel you control to the graveyard. This card cannot be destroyed by card effects. If it battles an opponent's monster, at the end of the damage step, inflict damage equal to the monster's attack of the opponents to their life points, and gain life points equal to that monster's defense. So it's like it's got Yubel's ability in there, in that it can't be it can be destroyed by card effects, and it's got the burn damage in there, but it's a sort of like an elemental hero card in a way, but sadly just not a fusion. It's also a light type as well, which is interesting since Yubel and Neos of course are light and dark in their retrospects. But it was a pretty cool card. I thought it was awesome, and I was quite happy to get a copy of this to keep, because I thought it was an awesome card. But the thing is, I haven't seen very many decks based around it. I mean, it is difficult to keep Neos and Yubel out in the field unless you play a lot like a resurrection deck, I suppose, where like special summon Neos from the graveyard or from the hand and Yubel from the graveyard mostly, I suppose, in order to do that. But as I said, if it had been a fusion monster, that would have been awesome, but sadly they didn't make it a fusion monster, so it doesn't see a lot of play, but I think it's still a pretty awesome card. Now, in comparison to with what most Yubel decks tend to play, most of the combos I've seen have included things like Limit Reverse, which special summons the Yubel from the graveyard, and when it's switched to defense mode, it's destroyed by this card's effect, which means it automatically gets Yubel's effect to go off to go into Incarnate and so on and so forth. I've also seen things like the Doomed Shaman, you know, when you special summon Yubel with Doomed Shaman's ability, and then tribute Doomed Shaman, which in turn destroys the first form of Yubel. And you of course comboed with the Swing of Memories to special summon Doomed Shaman to get the effects and combos and that to go off. These are just a few things I've seen in Yubel decks, and they're all effective, they're all pretty good and pretty awesome, but Yubel is no longer considered a real meta deck. It's more of a fun variant deck, although it could be really competitive if people, you know, really try their hardest. I mean, I've seen quite a few variants using this card as well, Dark Armed Dragon, because they immediately, as soon as you've got, like, say all 3 of the forms in the graveyard, you can special summon the Dark Armed Dragon and begin a rampage with Dark Armed and everything. And that. But anyway, I think Yubel, just in general, is a very good underestimated card. It can be hard work sometimes to get the forms out successfully, especially with cards today that can negate her effects and stuff like that, such as Effect Veiler, Skill Drain, Light and Darkness Dragon, all that sort of thing. But as I said, I think she's a really underestimated card. She's pretty awesome as well. It said most forms tend to try and go for the second or third form, but the first form is still pretty good as well. As I said, when I used it in my Blue Eyes White Dragon deck, I would often tribute the White Stones or Blue Eyes or something into the graveyard and then fusion with Dragon's Mirror and stuff like that. But as I said, that was a very, very long time ago, and I would like to build a deck around Yubel one day. But sadly, I don't think that'll be anytime soon, because quite a few dark monsters that I would like to use are a wee bit expensive. But as I said, if you do get a chance to try her out, try her out. I think she's an awesome character, and if you haven't actually seen the anime where she does make her appearance, it's season 3 of the Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. If you can, watch the Japanese version, because as I said, she is so different in the Japanese anime, at least, from the English version. The English version, I felt just really dumbed her down, but in the Japanese, oh my god, she was an incredible villain to say the least, and became a very strong ally in season 4 of the GX anime. So I thought, you know, awesome character, awesome cards, you know, give her a go if you want to give her a go. Anyway, I think that's it for this card discussion video. I'm sorry if I rambled on a wee bit there, guys, but I hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you guys in the next video whenever that decides to come along. So take care, and we'll see you guys later. Bye!